It being 6 o'clock and there currently being a quorum present,
Just muzzling, just a minute. There we go, okay. When the screen,
you're
we're
good.
gone. Okay,
Okay.
good, okay, go ahead, please.
It currently being 6 o'clock and with a quorum present, I would like to call this meeting of the Ocean Springs Historic Preservation Commission for this date, February 15th, in session. As our first order of business, I would like everyone to reread the rules as printed or the minutes from the last meeting. And if there are no objections or changes to be made, do you have a motion to accept?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. And it's carried. Minutes from last meeting are accepted. First item we have tonight is a piece of old business, and that's a business that was ruled on by the HPC some time ago, and there's quite a bit of contention about this. Prior to opening the discussion from members of the commission, any of the commission members who have a question, I'd like to call up members from the interested parties in the audience. Do we have someone here who would like to speak on this?
Would you like me to, I could go and give you a little bit brief intro on the history of it and what they're asking for here.
Mhm.
If you'd like to do that. You see the property is shown on the screen. This is 410 Martin Avenue. It's the old Ocean Springs Historic District, just north of Front Beach. If you could scroll on down to the, one more please. I think there, 'cause that one probably illustrates what's being requested here. There's one basic request that's involved in this amendment to this existing approved plan. And that's to widen the driveway, the front circular driveway, and also decrease the degree of curvature in that. In addition, the central brick paver's walkway is to be eliminated from the plan. Just to refresh your memory on this, the COA for this one was approved by y'all in 1922 at the November meeting, and it went on to the next Board of Aldermen meeting for approval by them. As part of that plan, there was a 12-foot wide circular driveway approved in the front yard that, there you go. And Martin is on the left side of that screen. So you see the inner line is the 12-foot circular drive that was as approved. And the request before you tonight is to widen that circular driveway to 20 feet and also to decrease the degree of curvature of it, which would then bring the edge of the driveway closer to the north property line on Martin Avenue. Just want to mention to you that there are some emails from nearby property owners concerning the proposal that are in your book. Some are included with the report. Others were received later on and are in the front pocket of your booklet there. I said this is to widen the driveway to 20 feet and be adjacent to the north property line. The reason for that, according to the applicant, is that these provide more maneuvering room and parking area within the front yard, that a 12-foot driveway does not provide sufficient space for a vehicle to park and to maneuver around it at the same when it's parked there. The Historic District guidelines contain various recommendations, policies, guidelines that relate to parking in the front yard, parking in the rear yard, location and design of driveways. Those are described in the findings section of the report, and also I think they're mentioned in some emails also. I think that concludes what I was going to say in terms of summary. There is a proposed motion if both for to approve or deny the amendment, whichever way you want on that. And I believe there are some people from the neighborhood who probably want to talk in regard to it. So that concludes what I have to say, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
All right, first of all, do any members request the floor for the purposes of questioning anyone here? No. All right. Do we have interested members and interested parties in the gallery who would like to speak?
I mean, I can start.
Okay.
Fine, I'm the owner.
We ask you to restrict it to 3 minutes, please.
Okay, the reasons for widening the driveway are a lot.
State your name and address.
Michael Cunningham, I'm at 711 Pine Drive now, but this is my future address. But the predominant reason for widening the driveway was actually safety. The north corner towards the house is about 14 feet higher than where you see all those pavers that have been X'd out. And so to manage that, we're gonna have to put a retaining wall across there because the slope is so steep that controlling drainage is practically impossible with vegetation. And so we're having to move it out some and create a retaining wall, widen the driveway, because the driveway currently, as designed, a Ford F-150 cannot make the turn. So if that kind of gives you an idea of how narrow and how acute the turn is. And so we need to get the driveway level, because as is, it'll drop off 3 feet from the steps to the street side part of the drive. And as you can imagine, trying to get out of a car door with a 3-foot drop is almost impossible. So to level it, we have to dig out some earth, put the chain wall in. Many of our visitors, including my parents, this isn't parking for us, by the way. This is visitor parking. We are parking in the rear. And so this is just visitor parking. People like my parents, when they're older, they're not going to be able to, climb up a slope like that unless it's the level of the driveway. The Sands development is also directly across the street from the primary entrance where the main drive is. And as you can imagine, over the next couple of years, that's going to be extremely busy. I'm a cardiologist. I have to leave for emergencies 50 to 60 times a year. I need an alternate exit out. So I don't think eliminating the semicircle drive really isn't an option. I have to be able to leave as soon as possible whenever I get called out. So that was one of the main reasons for the semicircle drive in the first place. We knew the Sands was going to be developed and it was going to be a problem for us from a traffic perspective. There is also no street level parking on Martin. People cannot park there. We need some place for visitors to park. And the semicircle drive was the best option. The only other option was to put a parking pad on the north side of the property, but that's really not pretty or conducive, and our neighbors really aren't going to like that either. So this was the best option for us, and then widening it out helps a normal car, say a Ford F-150, a Toyota Tundra, to be able to navigate that semicircle drive and exit.
When you were talking about you would park in the back,
Yes,
would that not be an option for guests as well?
it's not.
Okay.
There's not any room for guests to park in the back. There's a 3-car garage back there for us, and there's, honestly, the people, we as residents will have to actually do a 3-point drive to actually back out of our garage to get out.
Okay.
So, and if I have people over and I have an emergency, I can't have people park in the driveway and ask them to
Right.
move to get out of the way.
Right.
I need to be able to leave immediately. So, that's kind of one of the that's the main reason the semicircle drive in the first place was put in, was so I had an alternate exit to get out in case something was going on street level at the Sands where I couldn't get out at the primary exit. There are also 4 semicircle drives in the historic neighborhood within 150 yards of my house, including one 2 doors down that's on Front Beach, has a semicircle drive. Ruskin Avenue has 2 semicircle drives. Cleveland Avenue has a semicircle drive, all within the historic district. So I don't see how we should be singled out for that reason. We are trying our best not to put the drive all the way to the property line. We're going to try. But it's going to be close, probably within a couple of feet. Because I know the neighbors, their big issue is they don't want the driveway in front of their house. So we're doing our best to work with the builder to come up with the best design for the driveway. But, now I have actually an updated plan if you'd like it. I don't know if you guys have it. Do you have this plan? The new one?
No, that's, what you see on the screen is the
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
we
this
have.
is the one from the architect. I don't know if you want to pass that around. So, anyway, the architect really didn't consider the drainage issues when he did the driveway. He just drew us a driveway.
That was the next question I was gonna ask, was the drainage.
Yeah, so that was, that was the problem. And honestly, the driveway was supposed to be 16 feet wide. I'm not sure why 12 was the number. But anyway, those are kind of the major issues for us. Drainage, functionality, my professional livelihood, and I think, and like I said, we're gonna try to do our best to keep it from being in front of the neighbor's house, as best we can. We're working with our builder and the guy that's building our driveway. I had spoken to Scott, who is not here, Joanne's husband, about that, and I told him that we were gonna do the best we can. I don't think it's gonna go to the property line. I don't think it'll come to that. It's really gonna all come down to the chain wall, because as you can imagine, when you have a chain wall, you lose some navigation from a vehicle perspective. You lose a couple of feet, because your fender can hang over if there's no chain wall there. If there's a chain wall, you can't do that, so you're losing, so that's the reason for the 20-foot driveway. And we may make it 18, I don't know, 20 is not like an absolute number. If 18 gets us where we need to be, and we can kind of turn it in a little bit, and vehicles can navigate freely, and it gets it, 4 feet off the property line, it's great. That's what we'll try to do. And we won't really know that until we dig it all out, honestly. Because the way we found out that there wasn't enough room is one of the builders has like just a Ford F-150, and he couldn't make the turn when he put the flags out for the driveway. So that's kind of how it all started, and while we're here. And also, it's not a historic house, our house. It's old. It's not old. I don't know that the Cinder Circle Drive issue is something that concerns new construction. Clearly hasn't been on this committee's mind in a while, because there's so many Cinder Circle Drives in the historic districts. I drove around, there's in front of houses, and some of them are used as the primary parking. So there's also plenty of historic homes that have parking pads in front of them. And, I don't know, the semicircle drive for us is just necessary. And I realize the guidelines state that, what's the word it uses? Generally inappropriate in most areas. So that's not a ban on semicircle drives in my mind. And so we really need the semicircle drive. And it's already been approved. We're just widening it some, hopefully as little as possible. That's, I don't really have too much else to say. I think that's really it. I do have also a picture, property line to property line, semicircle drive that's on Ruskin Avenue, if you'd like that, that I can hit with a baseball from my backyard. I don't want to be here. I hate confrontation. And this is a picture of the last flag for the driveway. It currently sits at the level of the bushes that the neighbors have to the right, to the south of their house. So it's not in front of the house. That's a temporary spot. We don't know what that's going to wind up, but that's our best option, I think, right now, is where that flag is. So if we can move it in at all possible, we will try to do so after we get it all dug out. But I'm asking for property line just in case it comes to that. I don't think it will, but that's what I'm asking for, because I don't want to have to do this again. If y'all have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
In your discussion with your neighbors, has there been any compromise?
Well, like I said, it's hard to know the compromise, because it hasn't been, the chain wall, it hasn't been dug out yet. So it's hard to know until that's all done and we get a vehicle in there and actually test it out. If 18 feet works, then that works, and it's not in front of their bushes or their house, I'm fine with that, if they are. But, there's no setbacks for driveways in Ocean Springs. So, if we needed to take it to the property line, even if we did, it really wouldn't be anything more than, probably something, just the flare out part of the driveway. It wouldn't be the driveway, it would just be like a flare. So, you know, the retaining wall for the most part will be, the plans has it on the property line, but it'll probably be a 2 to 3 feet off the property line, when it's all said and done. So,
Wade, is there a possibility that we can table this until he gets more information as far as having it dug out like he's requesting and all that?
That's not an option. I mean, you have a schedule when, I think that's gonna.
they're gonna dig it out when you guys said okay?
Yes.
They don't wanna dig it out because,
They do
I
that
mean,
now.
you know, if we come back and then you tell me no, then I'm stuck with a big muddy hole in the ground.
I'd like to ask one question, if I may. You brought up the criteria of not being able to turn a Ford F-150 crew cab in a driveway.
No, just a regular F-150.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and in my car is a 4-door sedan, and I don't think it would make it either.
Yeah, I would ask that we, you know, we make your basis and your determination, the fact that you're willing to move it and so forth, based on the kind of cars that'll be there on a regular
See, like
basis.
my two brothers drive Tundras, my wife's dad drives an F-150, and the people that are gonna park there, those are the vehicles that they drive. I mean, my family and my friends are who's gonna be there. It's not just random people off the street, but that's our family.
Yeah.
You know, those are who are gonna park there for get-togethers and whatnot, and we need a place for them to park. We can't tell them a 70-year-old dad who's got a hip replacement to park at the beach and walk up. That's not cool.
Okay, and that's, I didn't want to cut you off at 3 minutes because what you were saying was pertinent and I wanted it heard. Thank you very much
Okay.
for your input. Do we have anyone else who'd like to comment, please? Yes.
I'm Joanna Chavrin, the neighbor, and like, I'm at 414 Martin Avenue. Like Michael said, we have been trying to work this out, just, you know, first I want to pass these out. So our house right here is known as Terrace Hill, and it was built in 1911.
This one?
Yes. We've been restoring it to state and local guidelines since 2020. And there's a couple pages on there that show the previous driveway and then the new one and how it goes over the green space to start at the front of the house. And I wrote a lengthy email. I'm not going to read that. I just want to touch on a couple of points that, to start with, Michael said there are some semicircle driveways in the historic district. And talking to people, some of those were grandfathered in from before we had historic guidelines. I'm not sure which picture he gave you. I do know of the cement one on Ruskin, and that is a new construction home. But the semicircle driveway does not go lot line to lot line, and there are no historic homes beside it. There's also other ones that are gravel. I think the guidelines do state, you know, that that's a suggested material. And then I know that there is one on Front Beach where the owners did tell us was grandfathered in from an old build from way prior to Trina. I'm not asking to take away their driveway. I'm just asking for 10 feet for some grace and space for my home. It's been here for 110 years. I'm fighting for it for hopefully its next 110 years. He says about his older parents parking in the front drive. Well, why are they gonna park up front when they have 10 stairs to walk up after if they're older and having a hard time getting around when the back parking for the house is flat and there are no stairs back there? If you see from my last page, the driveway from the street to the garage will be about 178 feet, which is probably one of the largest driveways in any historic district in Ocean Springs. I did the math, and from a 17-foot SUV, you can comfortably fit 16 SUVs in that driveway were it to be increased to the larger size that they want.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where do you park your cars?
We park behind our house.
Okay.
You know, I understand that sometimes having people over will be difficult if he needs to go somewhere, but I don't think putting a driveway in front of a home that has stood the test of time is, you know, trumps a little inconvenience of having to move your car to the end of the driveway if you're having guests over. The guidelines do state that the driveways are for old and new construction. The packet did say that it was for existing buildings only, but I looked today and double checked, and it does say on page 3 that it is for the district as a whole and not just existing structures. I have a copy of that if anyone would like to see it as well. You know, I don't want to be here fighting with them either. I just want to protect the integrity of our home. That is a lot of driveway, and the way that the lot line is, we'll put it directly in front of our house, when every other driveway in the entire historic district has a little bit of green space between each home. I am only asking for 10 feet, just 10 feet, for a little setback so it doesn't look like that driveway starts in front of our house. I don't care how big the rest of it is or any of that. I just would like to protect our historic home that we have worked so hard to push forward for the next generations to be here. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Joanna Warch, 219 Washington. I'm also a neighbor in the historic district. This is a tough one. I mean, we've all had issues with neighbors, and I think we can all look at our neighbors' houses and go, we wish we could change that or this or fix something. And it's very, very difficult because you want to get along with everybody so badly, and especially someone with a beautiful historic home like that. And it's unfortunate that that lot is angled. And that's part of the issue that Mike has is that lot is angled, which is why it's kind of looking like it's a little bit in front of their yard. But it is his property. And the problem that he has, he's actually my husband's doctor, and I would like to know that the next time I call and say we're on our way to the hospital, because my husband has had heart attacks, Mike's gonna be able to get out of his driveway and be there. And while he has a long one, it's narrow. They can't park to a side. So for him to get out, if people are parked in it, they're gonna have to move. So for him, the circular driveway was a must. You guys have already approved the circular driveway. They are all over the historic district. There are a couple that run property line to property line. And the reason they run to that is that the city allows it. The city has no setback for driveways. So for us to put one in place when there isn't one is really difficult. That's not really what the purview of this should be. The materials are, and you know, the looks of it are, but the city allows the driveways to go from property line to property line. I wish it were different, and I wish there was a different way to set this up, because I know it does affect the way it looks to them and the way it feels. But this driveway is correct in what he's doing and where he's placing it. And as somebody else in the historic district, you know, we've seen a lot of parking pads and circular driveways go in. And frankly, on a street where it's across from the sands, where the traffic is going to be higher than normal, like on my street, Washington. I mean, who doesn't watch all the cars fly up and down Washington? And we had to put a parking pad in out front because we have very little parking. And we had to have some way for people to get in and out. So I'm hoping that you will consider this and decide appropriately. Thanks.
Can I say
Thank you.
one thing? They're asking that from the street to the garage be 20 feet wide as well. That is wide enough for 2 cars. Martin Avenue is only 18 feet wide. So from the street to the 3-car garage, it will be wide enough for 2 cars to park side by side to get all the way to the 3-car garage.
I don't think he's asking to make that 20 feet back to the garage. It's just this.
It's wider, but it's not, I don't know if it's 20 feet. I mean, it might be, it's gotta be 20 feet at the entrance. But the part from the house back, I think it's like 16, I think. I could be wrong.
Are you talking about on my side, Michael?
Yeah, the width, once you get to the
It was
house,
expanded
back.
because if you look,
it was originally 12 feet.
yeah, but if you see, you left, I mean, you took your driveway when you poured the curb to keep our property from continuing to flood.
Right.
That
We
was,
had, that's right, we had to pour a curb to keep
Yeah,
it from
you had-
shifting water to their property.
Yeah, from the corner of the house to the property line is 18 feet at the start, and at the back it's 22 feet. So
Yeah,
the
but-
driveway on that side would be
We're
able
not
to
foot off
fit
your
2
property,
cars.
we're foot off your-
not according to the survey states now. And then you actually, we allowed you all to, at the bottom and the right of way, to encroach by doing that curve. You're actually on our property for that. But we did that as a compromise with you all because of the way you were doing the curve to keep from water shedding us. And then if
Right,
Craig
right,
didn't
right.
tell you, you're gonna be taking a big dump truck of your fill and putting it on our property because that way we can have all the water flowing the
I mean,
right way.
honestly, I don't know how wide the driveway is on the side of the house.
So-
It's kind of irrelevant to
It can
what
be
I'm
large enough
asking
for
here
2
today.
cars, and has been expanded to that.
But that's irrelevant to this discussion today. I mean, the discussion is the north side of the property and what can we do there to, make the drive functional and safe. And that's why, at least that's why I thought I was here today. There's also legal precedent in this city. Susie Moran sued for a semicircle drive, property to property line, and lost that lawsuit. Legally, I'm allowed to do this as well. So I don't, and again, I don't want it to go to the property line. We're gonna do everything we can to make it not go to the property line. But 10 feet, there's no 10-foot setback in Ocean Springs for driveways. I mean, that's a structure setback. So I don't know where the 10 feet number comes from, but.
That's just all I'm asking, so your driveway's not in front of our house. That's it. That's it. 10 small feet out of 100 feet across.
Are there any other comments? All right, do we have a motion to approve or deny or to table this issue until we can get some more input on it?
I don't feel comfortable approving.
I don't feel comfortable either. I don't.
Then can we have a motion to deny?
There seems to be some degree of debate between the different owners of the actual width of the driveway, the long driveway, going back. If indeed, the way I understand what you're saying, if indeed that is gonna be wide enough for 2 vehicles to go side by side down
It
through
won't
there.
be. It won't be because there's a gate at the top.
A gate that has not been approved by the historic district.
Well, I mean, we have to have a gate around the pool. The entire pool has to be gated. There's a
Yeah,
pool
the
in the
pool
backyard.
is not by the driveway, though.
But there has to, it has to be fenced, the entire backyard has to be fenced by code. So we have to have a gate.
The plans that I gave y'all, if you can see the numbers, that side of the house, the driveway has been widened all the way from the house to the property line, which is 18 feet at the front and 22 feet behind it. So it is large enough for 2 cars.
So I have a question for the members of the committee. Y'all are comfortable with me being late for an emergency at the hospital?
No, not at all, but here's the thing I will say about that.
That's all I'm
No,
asking.
but that, I will say this, so you're in the historical district, and I know a lot of people who have important jobs that live in a historical district. I lived in Annapolis and the driveways were super narrow, and I knew several doctors where they would have to go out and move cars and do all of that, but that's where they chose to live, was in the historical district. And I understand what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, but I also understand this is a historical home, and we have so few historical homes. And while I understand your plight, I mean, I don't know, I would need more information for sure, like how wide it's gonna be, where this is gonna go. It's all this maybe, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
And
that's,
that's my problem. I'm not saying that I wouldn't approve it. I'm saying there's too many speculations that we're getting this, we're gonna try to not do this. We're going to give, I would need definite for me to be able to feel more comfortable doing this.
Could we table it then?
Yeah, I would rather do
let's
that.
table it for, I make a motion that we table this for one meeting. If you could, within that time, consult with your neighbors, work with your architect, so that we can get some exact dimensions of what this is gonna be, somewhere between 8 feet and 10 feet and 12 feet and on the property line and so forth.
Okay.
It's absolutely impossible for us to approve or deny this based on this much speculation.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
And
Okay?
I understand where you're coming from, and I would love to approve it, but there's just too wide of a speculation for me to feel comfortable.
I understand that.
I'm the same way. I don't know what I'm approving because I don't have an answer.
Gotcha.
The other question I would have then, if you've got this gate issue,
Yeah.
I'd like to know, before we get together again, whether or not there's some adjustment that could be made to the gate.
Well,
Make it more-
the issue is, gate-wise, there's really not, because the way the back is, so, it's, the house ends, here. So say the house ends here, and then, so there's not a lot of room back there because of the Ruskin oak. So, we had to put our garage, so we have a big, large branch of the Ruskin that comes to the backyard. And so we had to basically take our garage, it's really supposed to look like this, and we had to tilt it back this way to make room for that. And so the pool is in this kind of unusual spot. It's sort of behind the house, but also to the left and the rear. And so, to create a way for us to get out of the garage. And so otherwise, the pool would have been on the other side. But because there was no other way to do the garage in the back because of the big branch from the Ruskin oak, there's no other way to put the fence. So we have our neighbor's fence that runs along the south side of the property, and then I guess it was originally Joanna and Scott's fence that was from Terrace Hill that ran all the way across the back. We have part of that fence. The other part of that fence was destroyed by a branch of the Ruskin oak that fell not that long ago. And so we have to have a fence between our two properties. And then the only solution is to put, because you can't put a fence, we can't put a fence up by the garage because it still won't close off the pool. The only way to close off the pool is to put a gate right there by the back side of the house, where the driveway comes into where the garage is. It's the
So there is an
only solution that we've been able to come up with.
So there is an alternative.
I don't know what the alternative is.
I thought, maybe I misunderstood what you said. They said the only way to fix it would be to put the gate over further.
No, you can't, but you can't put the gate over because it still doesn't close in the pool. The pool has to be fully enclosed somehow by code. The only way to do that is to put a gate at the back side of the house on the south side.
He's saying put a gate across the driveway, whereas the pool can, is not right. It's not like that gate is, the pool is separate from the driveway. This is a gate to close the driveway off.
No, it's not. That's not the purpose of it, Joanna. It's
Yeah,
to
we're really,
close.
we're not talking about the gate at all tonight anyway, that's not on the agenda
I don't
tonight.
need the gate. I don't need it. The only reason we have to have the gate is for the pool. I would prefer not to have the gate, but we have to have something by code to close off the pool.
Let's not discuss the
I
case
just want to
tonight.
see actual factual numbers that we can work with, and then that would make me more inclined to make a decision and a ruling on how I would feel about it. As far as the gate, I just need to know what the dimensions of the driveway are, what you're looking to do, how it's going to encroach, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for.
You want a motion?
Please. to
I'll make
table.
a motion to table this particular item until the next meeting.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Very much. All right. Next item is a request for certificate of appropriateness for property at 1211 Bowen Avenue. Mr. Wade, would you like to tell us where we are with
Sure.
it?
This is for COA, for one, for the construction of a carport, and two, for installation of privacy fencing. So that, you recall this came before you about a year or so ago for some modifications to the renovation of the house. It's there on that northwest corner of Bowen and Russell. It's in the Bowen Historic District. However, it is not a contributing structure to the Historic District per the Department of History and Archives and History rather, a database. House was built in 1968. It's a more of a range house. If you could scroll down to the I think it kind of gives you the site plan. Let's see. The property, the house there is in blue, and Russell is over on the right side of the screen. So let's see. I'll give some. Okay. Go back up one, please. One more. I think that's probably really good enough. And that gives you a little bit of a perspective. I think on page 2 of your report, I give you a good schematic of the orientation of the both carport and the fencing. But the carport is beyond the north side of the house facing Russell Avenue. According to the applicant, it's going to be a basic carport, open walls, and 6x6 foot posts with a 23.5 by 70 foot dimension to cover the rear of the driveway. Then the fence is to connect the carport to the north property line, basically along Russell Avenue.
We changed it, so there's no carport, there's just, the
Oh.
issue is the fence being closer.
Okay, so the carport's out of the plan now?
The carport's out.
Oh, okay, excuse me.
So it's just, the issue was just confirming with the neighbor that it was okay to do a fence over 4 feet. You know,
Okay.
11 feet from the street, so just enclose that backyard.
Okay. I think then you have an illustration of it. And so it's going to be the wooden fence, correct? As well?
Correct.
Okay. Wooden fence, the 11 feet from Russell Avenue. As it said, the proposal is for 8 feet in height, which is the maximum fence height allowed. And per our development regulations, in situations where the fence is over 4 feet in height, then basically a front yard like this, our requirements get the neighboring property owner has to agree in writing to that situation. We've gotten that, so the issue here before the historic commission is basically the appearance of it and the, actually the location of it along
And he's gotten approval from his neighbor.
the neighbor to the north, correct?
Do you have an example of the type of fencing design? to you.
Is it a newer phone?
No, just in case it goes dead,
I'm kidding. Thank you.
A letter or a copy from the neighbor saying that they stated the approval, was that in the minutes?
Yes, it's
Okay,
it's in the file, yes.
It's in file, okay, just to make sure we had a copy of that.
Could you email that to Camille, please? Yes. Make that part of the minutes then.
Do we have a motion for the certificate of approval?
I make a motion to approve the fence that he has submitted to us in a photograph that has also been approved by his neighbor.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we're unanimous, good. Item next. Winston Shearwater Drive.
I'll have to recuse myself on this one since it's
Okay.
my application.
Okay. Approval.
You don't have to leave.
I was just gonna
So
say.
if you just go sit in the audience, that
Yeah,
way
yeah,
it's, that's
We have any questions? We don't want some looking for you, eh?
that way, no questions, they can ask.
Isn't this a fence that you've already asked about?
That's the one across the front.
Yeah.
This one's gonna go down the side.
Okay, is it the same fence?
Same exact fence, yeah, just close it, finishing it off.
Yeah.
Then also an entrance gate and a stamped concrete driveway. So the three components of this one. They just said the fence is to go along the eastern property line, adjacent to your, that other driveway that goes down to.
Right, and there's a fence just like it on the other side of that driveway, so it's all matched.
And then there's illustration of the gate. The report, I think it's on page 6. A picture above that is the stamped concrete driveway entrance.
Also, there was on the right side, on the west side, there's a 9-foot, it's in the drawing, but it's not on the notes of it, but that's actually part of it too. There's a 9-foot section, but I'm gonna corner on the other side. But it's on the drawing, you can see it on the drawing.
What material is the fence gonna, the gate,
Sir,
the gate?
the gate's gonna be, either aluminum or iron.
And it's gonna be black to,
It'll be brown.
Brown.
Brushed
okay,
brown.
but it will match the fence.
Yes, it'll actually match the crow's feet that are in the house, it's the same color.
It's an ambitious looking gate.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Took me a while to find that. A lot of search.
I bet.
I make a motion to approve the additional fence that goes down the side that matches the fence that's in the front, and to approve the gate and the stamped
Second.
concrete.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. All right. Do you want to tackle the stamped concrete entry
That's what I said.
separately? Okay. So, all right. Are there any other motion items that we have
Not
put on
much,
this?
just any requests from the audience if anyone here wants to comment of some sort.
Okay. Do we have any requests at this time? Comments?
Looks good.
All right. All business before this commission being concluded this February 15th, 2024 meeting of the Ocean Springs Historic Preservation Commission. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Thank you very much.
I don't know that we can collectively,